This is evaluation 3, where we're talking about the distributors and the actual production of our film. Like production companies.
Yeah. So like, obviously a production company would be like Rooster Teeth or Disney.
Disney, like you have big companies like Disney, which have lots of small companies inside.
Yeah.
You've got Pixar, Marvel, who make comics and films. Then you've got small production companies like Rooster Teeth that make small internet videos. We don't actually have a company. We just made one up to put on the video.
It's something me and John have been discussing about doing, weighing up our options after A levels and stuff. So might be something to look into. You know, we haven't really. What was the name?
It was. Not a production.
Yeah.
No, anti-production.
Anti-production.
Which I thought was a very clever name.
Yeah.
It was. And me and Sam, we do like filming and stuff, and I don't think it's a career that we would pursue as an actual career.
Yeah, I think
it's a hobby. It's
something we do on the side as well as like at work. It's obviously producing movies or basically like various forms of media. So like you say, I hate to be cliche and revert it back to Disney, but they have various different like fronts. So it's not just Disney DVDs and films.
There's like the Disney Channel,
there's
obviously like TV and whatever.
And they also do comics and give away rights to such things.
Yeah.
So
and their theme parks as well.
So if we take because we all know about Disney because of like media studies.
So obviously the idea of a distributor is like a production or a company within the UK. So like if a film is made over abroad, so let's say they're making a new Cars 2 at the minute, so Disney might incorporate that. They'll think, you know, that how successful the first one was over here, so they'll send like prototypes to all Disney shops or something, and give it as like, you know, you can play with it, try before you buy almost. Which obviously the distributor would then like send to the shop, retail, and then retail would sell it on, and the profits would go back through.
But nowadays distribution is a lot more difficult because you have DVD, Blu-ray, digital downloads, streaming. So distribution is now spread across 5 different things instead of just because VHS tape and or DVD. Where would the money have come from? It would have come from
investors in the company.
If they thought our film was a good idea, they would have invested to help us get props, makeup, filming equipment, actors.
Yeah.
Whereas ours was a very
minimalistic.
Zero budget is what it was.
We didn't really want to.
We borrowed the camera from Drama. We borrowed the sports equipment. We borrowed
the tripod from
the tripod. You guys aren't getting paid. Wait, we're not.
Yeah, we're not getting paid. So you know, it was basically almost voluntary, wasn't it? So obviously the money getting back into the system would be via the retail and how it's sold to.
And like toys.
Merchandise.
So it wouldn't just be DVDs. So it could be like, you know, they make books of films and annuals for it, like, you know. So,
Or like toys and whatever.
We said toys. Stuffed animals, if we're going that way.
Our film is obviously released in the same way that a small brand film would be done. So we've launched it over YouTube. The different people named in the titles is obviously me as the script writer, and the actor. So these are 2 professions because I take English and drama. So these are 2 professions that obviously intrigue me. I'm currently writing other stuff for plays that I'm hoping to write based around an art script writer called Antonin Artaud even. He was late 20th century playwright, focusing on provoking a human or emotive response via. His idea of his performances was to provoke an emotive response. So be that the majority of the time it were to be to scare the person. So if he could provoke the person into being that sickened that they had to physically leave, that would be a successful performance for him, which isn't what I was going for with this, obviously, because you wouldn't be watching this now, but I was going with the provoking a response, so obviously making you smile when there's a bit when they're like, hey, why are we running? What do you mean? There's no, well,
they're fast and they're really slow.
They're really slow. So obviously, when John would be sitting there, well, John would be at the top of the corridor, and he'd say, "Why are we running?" And obviously that would be the banter exchange. So because they're very slow, and you know we're running from them, it's obviously quite funny to watch. It's like,
and it's very like in every zombie film you see, they're always running from the really slow zombies, and it's always puzzled like me and I assume you as well, Sam, why they're running.
yeah.
If they're like really
So
slow.
typical films of like Dawn of the Dead, quickly, and they sprint to a helicopter, and the zombies are like
10 miles away.
if they're like there, the people are like
a zombie with no legs.
the people are like, and then like they're just like, and just like not even moving. It's like,
so it's referencing like other pop cultures very subtly.
yeah. So it's obviously taking the nick out of well, not taking the nick out, but pointing at the flaw of the zombie films. So like Resident Evil, for example, when they're down in the they're down under the under the system and they're moving very fast and trying to get away from them. So yeah, Barbara Streisand.
Carry on.
My title in the film would be I'm one of the actors, obviously. It's not a career that I'm willing to pursue, although it is something that I enjoy doing and I feel that I'm fairly good at.
He is. He's no major star, but he is.
I'm more like Johnny Depp.
He's more of a
Getting accepted into anything and not very good at it.
He's more of a limited range, so it's he can do the basic like principles of what we needed for that and leave them all. Different displays of emotion. Me and Adam Donkin could do as we're both I hate to say it, but budding thespians, as it were. So yeah.
But no, it's not something I'm willing to pursue, but it's something I really enjoy doing, and if the opportunity came up to do something, I would. Also for the film, I'm the director, because although we all came up with ideas, I was the one that kind of confirmed them and improved them.
He's the most sane out of all of us, if you will. He's the one that kind of crafted it together, which was great.
I brought all of the ideas together. Whereas we had 5 different ideas go about, we took 3 of them, say, and made it improved.
Yeah, you sort of had the final idea.
Like the original idea was our original plan for the thing was to run down the corridor and go into a classroom, and then we wondered how would we continue on from there, which then brought part the go back to before the apocalypse, and then that brought the why don't we run down the corridor to find an exit, and it kind of brought those things together. And I like being the director. I don't personally see myself directing anything.
He was good as a director. Like if something was up, he'd tell you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like.
I'd rather be a very.
It was constructive criticism.
I'd rather be a very opinionative actor on your ideas.
Basically I'm credited as the cameraman in this, as obviously I filmed just about the whole thing. I did it, I was asked by John and Sam if I wanted to do that instead of acting, because basically in this I was the cameraman, because I enjoy filming. And Sam and John asked me if I wanted to be the cameraman instead of acting, because I enjoy filming things and I'd like a job in the media as a cameraman for TV or film, or a similar job. So
we respect that decision because honestly, Tom has the steadiest hands you ever see. Like it's not, he's just great. He's a lovely bloke to work with. He really doesn't get fussy at all. I even licked his ear once on location.
Yeah, some of the stuff I have to put up with.
And he wasn't too happy, but we've made up now.
We have.
In some of the other scenes, you were planning to come in on some of the other scenes.
Yeah,
but due to you not being here, we had to film something else.
Yeah, so we had to.
But no, although we did have the tripod, some of the scenes we did, Tom did freehand. And I don't think me and Sam could have got that kind of steady hand movement.
No. Stuff that would be released, and obviously trailers over YouTube, so some might include
viral.
Yeah. So
would be the best way to go.
There's a new film coming out called The Green Hornet, which there's been a lot of stuff over the internet about that.
But not much on TV.
But not really TV because it's not. Because different demographic audience, because obviously The Green Hornet is a very fast-paced action thriller, so it's not going to be attract the older generations. There's no point of playing it at midday on a Tuesday because the teenagers will be at school.
The Green Hornet was. I think they've done this very cleverly because The Green Hornet was a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a DC comic, and a lot of people that went to Comic-Con and stuff, that's where they first premiered it. And it makes sense for them to do it on the internet because obviously these people are always, well, not always, but the majority of them are on the computer.
I'm not.
And they're not really watching TV. So it makes sense for them to do it that way and they thought that's smart. Whereas something like Runaway Bride, you wouldn't really want to post that on the internet because, let's face it, us three wouldn't really want to watch that. So it's better to post that, say, midday on the TV or in women's magazines.
Yeah, so basically for different audiences.
Different audiences, different
audience purposes and stuff. Like, and obviously, like with the thing I mentioned earlier about the scripting, about the hypodermic syringe model, with Green Hornet, it's big bright colours, so it's the green and the black that's in your face that works, and it makes you think, wow, I want to see that film so much.
Sticks out,
and obviously it's injected straight into your brain, whereas what was the film you said?
Runaway Bride.
Runaway Bride isn't going to be as obvious as that. It's probably going to be more subliminal as to like lure the reader in, because
Whites and reds.
Yeah. So not like as dramatic colours almost. Like obviously the red would represent the passion and in some cases almost blood, whereas the white might represent like pureness and or purity and vanity and virginity.
Wedding dress is always white. And all that kind of stuff does.
Sort of like calm, gentle.
Yeah, it's not to like scare it because